Hello, Mailmage here. Welcome to another Let's Draw video, and today I'm drawing Josie and the Pussycats. This actually started as a birthday request from a friend of mine. After having time to think about it, I realized Josie has an interesting history, so I thought I could make a video of it. The character was created by Dan DeCarlo, an American cartoonist who was a longtime penciler and inker for Archie comics. He also co-created Sabrina the Teenage Witch alongside writer George Glarder. Maybe I'll do a video on her someday. The character of Josie was named after Mr. DeCarlo's wife, Josette Marie DeCarlo, a French-born model he met in Belgium in 1945. I guess I should have mentioned that Mr. DeCarlo was also a World War II vet. Because they spoke two different languages at the time, he used drawings to communicate with her. Like a lot of women in the 1950s and 60s, Josette liked to go shopping. While most husbands would be mad about this, she actually became Miss Dan's muse. Every new outfit she got, Dan applied it to the comic Josie. I bet Wilma and Betty are jealous. One time she came home with a blue ribbon in her hair, and it became Josie's signature look. Their two sons, Dan Jr. and Jim DeCarlo, were into music as teens, so Dan Sr. decided to have Josie play guitar in a rock band with her two best friends, ditzy yet sweet Melody on drums and sharp-minded Valerie on bass and later tambourine. And now you're probably asking, why the cat costumes? This idea came from a costume party Dan and Josette went to. Dan dressed as a big game hunter, and Josette was a leopard. And now, the band has a gimmick. I think I've talked enough about the production of Josie. Now let's talk about the characters themselves. I already mentioned Melody and Valerie. Also among them is Josie's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Alan, who handles their equipment. He was once described as Fred from Scooby-Doo with more muscles. There is also Alexander Kabatz III, Alex to his friends, the band's eccentric manager. He was a bit of a jerk in the comics, but they made him more of a lovable coward in the cartoon. Quite fittingly, he also shared Shaggy's voice actor, Casey Kasem. Makes sense. Mr. Kasem would be in something involving music, seeing as he was once a disc jockey and radio show host. Completing the cast is Alex's twin sister, Alexandra, and her cat, Sebastian. Alexandra is also a petty rival of Josie, both for her music career, even though she has no musical talent whatsoever, and for Alan's attention. In the comics, she also had magical powers when holding Sebastian, but these are absent in the cartoon. Guess they thought being a traveling band was enough. Often, she and Sebastian would try to pull a prank on Josie, only for it to backfire on them. Why do they bring her along anyway? Again? The cartoon was broadcast in 1970 by Hanna-Barbera. Some of you are probably wondering why Filmation didn't make this show as they did with Archie and Sabrina. The short answer is they didn't want to do too much work. Each episode has the main cast running into mad scientists, spies, crime lords, and other such villains, normally by accident. You're probably thinking this sounds a lot like Scooby-Doo. In the sense that both shows are about teenagers and a mascot dealing with criminals, yes it is. Both even have bubblegum songs played during their chase scenes. However, Josie and the Pussycats are a little ballsier in comparison. Scooby's bad guys are mostly real estate developers using scare tactics. Josie's directly tried to kill them. And if you thought that was crazy, wait till you hear about the spin-off, Josie in Outer Space. In it, the band posed for a photo in front of a rocket, but as usual, Alexandra wanted to be front and center and made everyone fell in and launched the rocket, making them lost in space. At some point, Melody gets a new pet, a cotton ball-like alien named Gleep. Each episode, they land on a new planet trying to get back to Earth, but they end up having to deal with a bad guy of the planet. A rock band fighting tyrannical governments. Is this what inspired Kid Video and Sonic Underground? After that show ended, Josie made a couple of last appearances. The cast appeared as special guests in an episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies, The Haunted Showboat. I bet kids not familiar with Josie were confused why there was a guy who sounded like Shaggy but looked like twice the hippie. They also wanted Alexandra, Sebastian, Alexander, and Melody in Laugh Olympics on the Scooby-Doobies, but they couldn't get the rights from Archie Comics, so they used Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels instead. Probably for the best. Alexandra would most likely mess them up. However, a children's book was published in 1976, Josie and the Pussycats, The Bag Factory Detour. Years later, a common thing on the Moxie show was that the title character had a crush on Melody. An anthropomorphic dog was in love with a human in a cheetah costume. Charles Darwin would have a field day with that. There were a few memorable promos from Cartoon Network. One claimed Benny from Top Cat was a forgotten fourth member. Another had Fred from Scooby-Doo accuse Velma of having an affair with Alan. The best one had to be the music video Musical Evolution. In it, Josie, Valerie, and Melody were singing the theme song, but every few seconds changed the style, going from normal, disco, grunge, country, metal, techno, then back to normal. I like the confused looks of Valerie and Melody between changes. There were a few attempts at making a revival. Deke Entertainment wanted to do one. Makes sense. They did make a couple adaptations of Archie and Sabrina, and even Sonic Saturday AM was based on the Archie comics. In 2016, Lauren Faust wanted to make one that would have some supernatural elements. Looks like we would have gotten amateur witch Alexandra after all. But sadly, licensing issues kept either from happening. Maybe after 2070, Josie can finally have a comeback in animation. In live action media, there was a movie in 2001 and Josie and the Pussycats were regular characters in the CW's Riverdale. I have not seen either to properly judge them. I should really practice on my body some more. I kind of gave him the proportions of a Dachshund. Okay, adding the spots. Okay, and now giving them a filter. And there you have it. Josie and the Pussycat putting on a show and probably getting mixed up with a mad scientist. If there's a character you want me to draw next, leave a message in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.